Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. Oh my. We have so much to cover today. I hope this video won't be too long for you guys. Buckle up. Let's just get in there. Let's go. Start with Prince William joined the HMS Audacious is what they're calling it, rowing. It's the Royal Navy rowing, and they're doing it to mark Mental Health Awareness Week. This is an excellent cause. It's for Mental Health Awareness Week. They chatted about anxiety. There's a really good video. And so in the video, William is rowing. Come to find out, he rowed some in Eton, and he has now received the nickname the Prince of Hotness. I agree. Boy's got some thighs, as he's rowing. You just see the muscles bulging, and it's like, he's in really good physical condition. All right, moving on. Still sticking with Prince William, he is the patron of the National Emergency Trust. He marked the 6th anniversary of the Manchester Arena attack. A report that was titled Be the Difference found that 3/4 of children and young people that were affected by what happened in 2017 were psychologically injured by what happened to them, but 29% never got any professional support in the 6 years since this happened. And 4 of the 10 say it was never even offered to them. You go, William, fix it. All right, moving on. Next up, Queen Camilla has apparently inspired a Jane Austen parody that's going to be performed at her inaugural literary festival. It's a comedy group that goes by the name of Ostentatious. That sounds perfect. And they're going to put on period costume attire and improvise a play. I think that's going to be very interesting. I wish I could see it. All right, moving on. Now we're moving on to Princess Anne. Remember, she's in Canada. And she was celebrating the 175th anniversary of the 8th Canadian Hussars. Now, we halfway covered this the other day, but you guys know how I feel when more pictures come out. I feel like I need to, give you more pictures and more clarity of what happened. I love her outfit. The red looks fabulous, and I love the fact that her scarf, I think that's her scarf, not part of the jacket. I could be wrong, but I think she just looks lovely. That's just the way I feel about her. Princess Anne also paid a visit to pay respects to fallen Mounties. Okay. We know she's in Canada, but there's more. Just watch, there's more. Now, also as part of the 175th anniversary celebration of the 8th Canadian Hussars, they gave Princess Anne the Commander of the Order of Military Merit. Now, I think I've told you before that Anne is the Colonel-in-Chief of the 8th Hussars Regiment since 1972, but while she was there, she also went to look at the museum apparently they have there. They even gave her a full military parade, tanks and all. It was really cool. There's a video online. All right, moving on. Next up, the Duke of Kent watched the 1st Battalion Rifles at their parade in Chepstow because they are leaving for Cyprus for the next 2 years. Very nice. Next up, it's the Chelsea Flower Show. Now, interestingly enough, apparently, Catherine was not supposed to appear, according to all the articles. It was very quick, unannounced. So she showed up because they were having the first ever children's picnic. There were children from 10 schools, and they were taking part in a new campaign for school gardening while they sat down to eat. So Catherine got there, did her obligatory shaking hands. She received some beautiful flowers. And then Catherine had absolutely no problem, this is what I love, plopping down on the ground with the kids on a blanket, no fuss, no muss, and started talking to the children. Now, she launched this Back to Nature garden at Chelsea in 2019. Remember, there were pictures of her and the Queen walking through. And this was to highlight the importance of being outdoors and how important it is is to a child's development. And she opened also later on a permanent back to nature play garden at the RHS Garden Wisley. I hope I'm saying that right, because Catherine says that spending time outdoors lets children build confidence and develop independence and learn how to forge relationship with others, which are all skills that help shape their lives as adults. Now, we all know the flower show was a favorite of the Queen, and this will be the first one since her death. Now, a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for this. I got to tell you guys, Catherine doesn't look bad in any color, but this bubblegum pink, for me, I don't know. I just don't like it on her. The dress is gorgeous. It's the color for me. Now, this all took place at the Royal Hospital in Chelsea in London today. And while Catherine was there, she spoke to the Chelsea pensioners. Very nice. Next, showing up to the flower show was the Prince and Princess Michael of Kent. Next, you have the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. Next up, Princess Alexandra arrived with her son. And then the King and Queen, Charles and Camilla, arrived. Of course, this is Charles's first time coming as monarch to the Chelsea Garden Show. And we know that this show was one of the Queen's favorites. So I'm glad that he and Camilla were able to, show up and do their thing. All right, moving on. Next up, we have Prince Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh. He is in Berlin doing the Duke of Edinburgh International Award. So there was a ceremony at James Simon Gallery where he spoke, and then he got to meet some of the students who got the award. I just love that Edward has finally stepped out of the shadows. You know what I'm saying? Really, they need their own social media page. Next up, we are on to Angela Kelly again. Apparently, Angela she left her home in Windsor. We know this, okay? We know this. But apparently, the reason she left her home in Windsor is she signed a non-disclosure agreement with the king. And as a result, he bought her the new house that she's living in. And people are up in arms. I don't know why they're up in arms. I think it was an excellent trade. She gets a new house near her family, and that's where she's going to live. All right, moving on. All right, this is royal but not, but it caught my attention. Apparently, there's a TV host named Stan Grant. He's of Aboriginal descent, and during ABC's coverage of the Coronation, he said some pretty nasty things. He said, and I'm quoting, "The British Crown represented invasion, the theft of our land, and in our case, the exterminating war." Now, since he went on ABC, this is not the place or the time to air your personal feelings, but he did. His family now, people are out in arms, and now his family has suffered racial abuse. Yeah, well, the shoe's on the other foot, man. For those who don't know, he is referring to the Bathurst War that took place in New South Wales in the 1820s. So they're saying that he did not give, quote, fair, balanced, and respectful commentary of the coronation. And Mr. Grant goes, well, not only have I been abused, but ABC executives aren't supporting me. Well, why would they? You've gotten them in all kinds of trouble. Ugh, moving on. All right, a blind item came out. Very interesting. Do you remember the other day when I told you that I found it interesting that Omid Scobie said he didn't have Harry's number on the stand, but he didn't say anything about Meghan's number? Moving on. All right, here we go. We're getting into the meat of it, the meat of this video. They're saying that Harry made a huge mistake and it's going to be hard to fix. Well, I'd like to say Harry didn't know what was going on, but you have to wonder. And here's my point. They walked in through the Hertz car. It was all arranged, but they decided to do a pap stroll on the way out because they wanted Meghan's picture taken. The problem is they don't really have a brand. We know this. The problem is they've been caught lying again and again. The problem is this time they've gone too far. So we're going to start by looking at an article that is a one-on-one account of what took place in that theater. Then we're going to move on to the new video footage. Okay? Here we go. The person above is named Maureen Callahan, and she was there at that awards ceremony, okay? So this is her firsthand account of what took place at the Woman of Vision. To start with, she said her entrance through the Hertz rental made her seem like the queen of Hertz. I agree. So she said, when they got there, they asked you if you were VIP, and if you weren't, you went to the lobby. So this person paid $1,500 for her ticket, and she ended up sitting on a hard seat in front of the coat check. She said after about 10 minutes, they finally let them upstairs, and they were serving good alcohol, so she was able to get a good drink. She said there were no big name stars there, and the people that she was spoken to, she said not one person she spoke to mentioned Meghan Markle. Not how exciting it was that she was going to be there. Nobody was curious about her, nothing. She said, and then the event went an hour behind schedule. She said finally they were told they could eat, so they ate. She said the food was not that great. And then she said Meghan's entrance, which was given all this drama, which none of the other activists who actually earned their awards got, Meghan walked up to the stage with Alicia Keys' anthem Girl on Fire, and then she said nothing happened. She said she talked about herself a lot. I myself showed you guys that she referenced herself 43 times in her speech. Essentially, the crowd looked bored. They were checking their watches. She said her speech didn't give any fresh content. She repeated her story about poor little Meghan, latchkey kid. She apparently thanked the other nominees but didn't name them and gave the same old in her speech. Change is just an action away. You can be the visionary of your life. Word salad. So basically, the evening for Meghan really was an actual flop. And now it makes sense that Gloria Steinem brought her to try to bring money in. But now, here we go. Here's the problem. And by the way, Meghan called her Glow, not Gloria. Neil Sean is reporting that friendship has now gone off the rails because with Meghan and Harry's antics afterwards, it overshadowed the entire evening. Nobody's even talking about the awards ceremony, and so much money was spent on that ceremony, and it was basically wasted. We know what happened after that. They supposedly got into this chase, and it was near catastrophic and almost dangerous. Well, some more video has come out, and it's in German. But lucky for me, I have a native German speaker in my house who translated it for me. Shall we? Here's what it says. The police had to intervene in New York because of Harry and Meghan. Their driver blocked the street to keep the paparazzi out. And Harry and Meghan had 4 SUVs. But what the driver didn't know is that you're not allowed to block the street without a permit from the city. So while one of the paparazzi is explaining this to the police officer, the police apparently don't see that the paparazzi are doing anything wrong or endangering Harry and Meghan. There is no royal privilege in effect in New York. So it's not clear why they claim they're being chased, but it's clear that the claim should at least be taken seriously. So here's the video that I think Harry and Meghan were hoping would not show up on the internet. Let's go. So security has blocked the street. He's telling paparazzi to get back, and the police are saying, "What is this?" Police officer says, "Oh no, you come with me." And the other police officer, the young lady, walks over and says, "What's going on?" And the man says to the officer, "We're paparazzi." And then he says, "Just letting you know I'm recording this, but we're paparazzi, and that guy is crazy." He says he's been driving crazy the entire time. For me, what I think is Harry's used to zipping through traffic because after all, when he was in, the UK, that's what they did. And I think that's what his security was trying to do for him, to give him and Meghan the thought that, they're still so important that all the traffic has to part for them in New York. But that's not the way it works. So I agree with this Twitter user. I think these two are absolutely insane. I think now you know just what the royal family actually had to put up with. Now, this information came out, which basically said what happened. So when they left, and we already know this, but let's just confirm, they drove around for an hour and a half. In the end, they were 2 blocks from where they needed to be. 2 blocks, people. They could have made it in 15 minutes. Now, the question is, who lives 2 blocks away? I agree with Megan's mole. Who lives close to there? Supposedly, Gayle King has a home very close to there. And you have to wonder, because now she's come out in favor, of course, of Harry and Meghan. Have you guys ever noticed? It's Gayle King, Oprah, Tyler Perry. Gayle King, Oprah, Tyler Perry. It's the same 3 people constantly speaking out in support of them. The rest of the world seems to have cottoned on. Now, Gayle has a new show, and supposedly she wants Meghan to be her very, very first person. Is anybody surprised by this? Anybody? Raise your hands. Oh, Lord. At this point, I think we all know that Harry and Meghan have become the butt of all the jokes. The question is, what is going to happen with the Gracie Awards next? You guys, we all know what's going on. They want their IPP status back. Will they get it back? That's the question. Now, in the meantime, some fabulous photos came out showing Charles being a really good dad to Harry. All the way up from childhood, his pet rabbit, his pet dog, playing on a fire engine, watching his dad play polo, helping his dad with his polo boots. All the way up to when he came home from Afghanistan and Charles and William were there to greet him. Playing polo together, being taken to see the Spice Girls. Harry has had a fabulous upbringing and a fabulous family. I just think that mentally there's something wrong with him and he only sees what he wants to see. You guys know what I'm saying. So sad. So, we're rolling towards the end here, and it's come out that the Spotify executive who signed Harry and Meghan on to that ridiculous deal that they have that has resulted in people losing their jobs has now lost his job. He said, well, in hindsight, I was too ambitious in investing ahead of our revenue growth. So they're restructuring and he's out. Well, maybe they'll cancel Harry and Meghan's contract. Now, in the meantime, the new PR stuff continues. Meghan Markle is bouncing back with the U.S. public. No, she's not, but look who wrote it. Sugar, Jack Royston. Figures. How about this one? Kate treats Prince William like the 4th child because he's prone to tantrums. Yeah, they haven't stopped the attacks at all. Ridiculous. Oh my goodness, you guys. Comments. I want all of them. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, just double check. Make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget to go up into the description box and you'll find the links to Twitter, Getter, Rumble, my email, and my physical address in case there's something you want to mail. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.